Hi, it's time for another experiment. Last week I said that I might not do something to do with singing, and that's coming true. We've got some guitar experimentation for you this week. What I wanted to do this time involves a lot of the presets in the program I use called Logic. There's a lot of preset guitar sounds in that when you plug directly into it. I want to use all of those and combine them into one guitar sound. What I'm going to do is listen to the clean signal for some riffs that I play, some that are well known, some that have been written, and then listen to this mixture of all the different presets and see how would that sound. There's 3 different categories for presets of guitar in Logic: clean, crunch and distortion, I think. So I'm going to try and use all 3 of those and compare them. I just wanted to quickly show you something before we get into how the things sound. This is the clean presets project, and I just wanted to show you sort of what I mean, in that these are all the clean presets down here that you can use, and they all sound slightly different. And I've made a track for each of those and just copy and pasted the same thing onto them all. There's loads. I believe there's there's 64 on this. I think there's more on one of the other ones. And then I've turned them all down to a reasonable volume and blended them all together on the same pan. So I've not panned them to make them sound any wider or anything like that. I've just blended them all in right down the middle, just to see how it sounds. I hope that makes sense. I think you'll see what I mean when I start playing. Let's do it. Okay, blended clean signals. It sounds great. I didn't expect this at all. I thought because in the clean signal presets, there's a lot of tones that have different effects on. They have some flanges, tremolos and echoes and all these sorts of things. And I thought that'd really overwhelm it and make it sound really sort of weird. I thought it'd sound interesting, but I didn't think it'd sound as usable as it does. It just sounds like a really nice fat tone with you get a little bit of subtle echoes and delays and little bits of that happening. The only disadvantage to this whole blending all of them thing is that you get some more sort of background hiss that you probably wouldn't want, but it's barely noticeable. I can totally see me using this tone. I might save it as a preset to use it in future projects because it sounds awesome. Let's listen to the crunch and then the distorted to see if they're just as good as this one. ever noticed how often I change my clothes in these videos? It's not on purpose, don't worry about it. So, with these crunch tones, it's obviously a lot more different to the clean signal and the clean tones. But again, another really good sound. I love the sound of it. It's because I think it's like a nice mix of fuzzes and different like little crunches. It adds up to being more high gain than any of the individual presets on their own. But I do think it sounds really good. I like the blend. I like how it's sort of got a bunch of different drive tones in it. It's quite interesting without being over the top. The only disadvantage is that excess noise that I mentioned in the last amount of presets. It's sort of accentuated on this because there's like sort of fuzziness on it and you can hear it a bit more. But I don't think it's a problem still. I still think this tone is pretty usable and sounds pretty good. Now to listen to the last one, which is the distortion ones. I'm expecting these to be pretty similar, but just more extreme. Let's find out. These sounds I'm not as excited about. Obviously we're getting more and more gain each type of preset combination we're using. And at this point it's just too much. There's too much gain. It does sound like a massive sort of rock stadium like sort of thing. But sort of like a messy one, not a good one. There's a lot of excess noise, especially when nothing's being played. In the AC/DC riff that was the last one you heard just now, the gap between each chord was not nice. There was a bunch of random excess noise, didn't like that. What I suppose you could use this for is the middle clip that you've just heard. It was sort of just high notes and like a lead style thing. It sounds okay for that, because when you're only playing lead and it's quite high frequency, gain doesn't like sort of affect it as much, so the abundance of gain that's on this tone isn't as bad when you're on a high lead tone. So maybe you could use it for that, but other than that it's just a little bit over the top really, isn't it? That's it for this episode of How Would That Sound. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this being a bit different to singing. I've got another idea for what I want to do next time, but you'll see that when it comes round. Hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next video. I don't know what that was anyway.